New Orleans playing host to the second stop on the 2022 AVP Tour, and it has already been a fantastic day. Day 2 coverage is just about the midway point, and we're having all sorts of fun here at Coconut Beach. It's Cameron Irwin alongside Rich Lamborn, and we are about ready to get to the winner's side of the bracket here on day number 2 on the women's side. And again, this is the 2022 New Orleans Open at Coconut Beach. Mark Sherman's down on the sand with our introductions. Take it away, Mark.
And it is time to send a team to the semi-finals, the winner's bracket. The night session starts right now as the sun begins to go down the horizon. Soon it will clear the Coconut Beach sign, and we will be shaded in our artificial light. I love the night session, ladies and gentlemen. This is New Orleans, and it is time for the final round of the winner's bracket. Let's meet our first team. This first young lady, oh my goodness. Can you think of a better start to her college career? Now, she just walks around calling herself this. It's a, you know, be humble a little bit. She's like, hey, everybody, I'm a back-to-back national champion. No worries. No worries. I'm super, super cool. Ladies and gentlemen, out of USC, the 19-year-old Megan Kraft. She's actually, like, super sweet and humble. She's like, now I'm uncomfortable. Just kidding. And her partner out of Wichita State, ladies and gentlemen. One of our very good friends as well, the mother of Gilbert. And you know what? You know what, Emily? I was very excited to see you playing with the young gun, Megan Kraft. You're right. She's an absolute stud. You have the utmost respect for her, and I love watching you two play together. Let's go, Emily. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Emily Stockman. And their opponents, this first player, also a back-to-back national champion, but she was a back-to-back national champion out of USC. Yeah, it doesn't get old. It doesn't, and it's gonna follow you forever. Ladies and gentlemen, she was also an Olympian for Team USA. Let me hear it out of Fullerton, California. It is Kelly Cheng. And her partner out of Loyola Marymount University. I just gave her her favorite snack for the rest of her life. I just introduced it, and I feel very fortunate. You ate a little bit, so if you win this, I get a small amount of credit for this match. Ladies and gentlemen, let me hear it loud and proud for Miss Betsy Flint. Good luck.
A spot on the winner's side and into the semifinals is on the line for these two teams. It's Emily Stockman and her new partner, Meg Kraft, against, the oh-so-deadly Kelly Cheng and Betsy Flint. It's 1 versus 5, and the night session has begun. Cameron Irwin alongside Rich Lamborn. And Rich, I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of feeling out in these first couple points, this new partnership of Emily Stockman and Meg Kraft.
I certainly would think so. Megan Kraft is coming off a national championship, her second consecutive national championship, as Mark told us, and working her way into the pro ranks.
A very dynamic blocker up at the net, no doubt. She has been very impressive, just 19 years old. You talk to Dane Blanton, her head coach over at USC, and he says, well, she definitely could be someone you're looking at for the Olympics moving into the future. Just so dedicated to her craft. Get it?
Well done. Well done.
And well done for Emily Stockman getting the kill. Kraft with the jump float. Starts on Betsy Flint, and you're going to see a lot of that from this team. Option plays, 1 contact, 2 contact over for Betsy Flint and Kelly Cheng.
Probably the premier on-2 player in the world, I would say, Kelly Cheng, and my favorite redheaded Asian.
Here's a look at Betsy Flint off the net. Betsy Flint, nice dig in the angle. Looking for the jumbo, but Stockman's all over it. And the rally continues. Open net, still dug. And we officially have a whistle. Kraft in the net. And if that's any sort of a preview of what we will be seeing, lots of defense and continued play from these two teams.
Just an unbelievable display of pole digging there, overhand digging by the blocker's tree, right? Both Kelly Cheng and Megan Kraft.
Without a doubt, and Betsy Flint with an ace, one of the toughest servers on tour. She's been named as such, I believe, back in 2019. Also one of the best servers. She took 2020, has a little one now. Little Miss Cora.
And you hate to follow an ace with an error, but Betsy certainly does have a very surgical float serve. Look for that to be a big weapon for her team this match. But Alder.
Shadows starting to play into the stadium court. Ball going in and out can mess with your eyes, as right now Stockman again continuing to attack from off the net. I feel like we're seeing a lot of extended play, but also a lot of attacks from about 7 feet off the net. Why is that the result?
Why is that the result? I'm sorry.
Why are they resulting in swings from 7 feet off the net, both these teams?
That's a good question. I know Cheng and Flint like to push the on-two plays a lot, and Kelly Cheng is certainly proficient at it from all areas of the court, despite the result of that last attempt. I know less about Stockman and Kraft as a new pair, so we'll see if they try and incorporate that to the same level that Cheng and Flint do.
5-4 now for Cheng and Flint. Trying to back Meg Kraft up to the baseline. And she makes them pay, going right up the line. Plenty of range off of Kraft.
I mean, I know we're only 10 points into this match, but it is pretty impressive that a 19-year-old kid in the form of Megan Kraft, it seems so poised.
Without a doubt, as that ball falls in bounds for Emily Stockman. You talk about poise. Emily Stockman was phenomenal on the day yesterday. I believe she came out of the day with an efficiency of about 750. So both of these two stepping on the court and showing their chops.
Is it the honeymoon phase for their partnership, or is it a harbinger of things to come in a good way?
I think that's a great question, but you look at what Emily Stockman was able to do just a few short weeks ago in Austin, Texas, alongside Emily Day, a new partnership with only a few days of experience together, as Stockman again continues to rip from the right side. But if you look at how they were able to perform, I think there's something to be said about the experience that Emily Stockman can bring to the game, having played several seasons on tour, and also some of the maturity that she can instill as well in Meg Kraft, one of the most poised and humble and new pros on tour. Just finished up a year at USC. Back-to-back national titles for her, like you mentioned. Very analytical in her approach to the game. Great processor of information.
Yeah, you would have to think that's the case to be so successful at such a young age. I mean, 19 is such a baby still in the game, but to have so much success and already be out here competing at the highest of levels on the pro tour, it's so impressive.
Kraft now in her 7th AVP event, 4th different partners. She did have a couple solid runs alongside another Trojan, Delaney Maple. She had a best finished of 5th back in 2019. That was alongside Maple. Looking to improve upon that now. There's the option again from Kelly Plays, now Kelly Cheng, recently married to Jordan Cheng.
That'll take some getting used to.
I know, I've called her name so many times. It's Kelly Clays. Covered her in college and now professionally. That one might stick for a while, as will that ace from Betsy Flint. And another tough ball off the hand of Betsy Flint. She is bringing it from the service line.
And she's already shown how many different ways she can cause you problems from the end line, right? She hits the laser beam at you. She's dropping some balls short. You go up the middle like she does there.
And she can also dig just like that, just off the edge of the block. That's an impressive touch.
Powering through the block goes Megan.
Powering through the block of Kelly Cheng.
Stockman to the line, 10-9.
It'll be interesting to see if these shadows affect the players all that much. It really kind of, you would like it to blanket the entire court, but you got a little bit of a zigzag pattern there, it looks like.
And 10-10, one to the tech.
Yeah, without a doubt, it kind of plays some tricks on your eyes on the sand when the ball's traveling in and out of those shadows, losing sight. Not just on, your own side too, with the pass and set and attack, but also trying to read the opposing side. It's challenging. 11-9 now, just 1 point to the tech. Nice contact from Stockman as they run an offense, and there was no block in front of her. What a push set from Meg Kraft.
And the score is 10-11, my bad. 10-11, 1 point lead for Cheng.
11-10 now into the technical timeout.
Make sure you, yes you, stop by the KT tape booth.
And Rich, you look at these two athletes. Betsy Flint, 5 titles to her name on the AVP Tour, as you now see where we now reside on day 2 of the New Orleans Open. These are the quarterfinals, so 1 versus 5 for Cheng and Flint versus Kraft and Stockman. Winner moving on to the semifinals. Loser will move to the contenders bracket and has a shot to get their way back in to the final. But it's interesting, you look at the resume and the career path, there's more so for Kelly Cheng, and I think a stat that might surprise a lot of people. She's coming off an Olympics and had a phenomenal last year. But she actually only has 1 title to her name on the AVP Tour, and I think that would surprise a lot of people. It was all the way back in 2017 when she picked up her first and only title alongside Sarah Hughes in Chicago. But she is one of the most dynamic on tour, and not just domestically, but also internationally. This is a team that can really challenge a lot of international teams as well, and look for some big-time gold and great appearances on the FIVB Tour.
It's pretty unusual to have more international victories than domestic victories.
Quick contact and a nice ball, 12 points for Cheng and Flint. Kelly Cheng making that Olympic run alongside Sarah Sponsel. Sarah Sponsel now playing alongside Therese Cannon. Currently on the international trek. Looking for the push again. Some extended offense on the side of Kraft and Stockman. And I believe they're calling that ball out of bounds off the antenna.
Thought maybe there was a question as to whether or not that went off of the arms of Kelly Cheng, but looks like not too much of an argument.
And a double contact. Called off the hands of Emily Stockman.
14-10.
I'd love to see the advancement of...
Another strong swing from Meg Kraft, net violation. Go ahead and continue your thought, Rich.
I was just saying, I'd love to see the advancement and the proliferation of hand setting, particularly in the women's game. It's such a vital skill in running your offense and kind of the consistency at which you can run your offense. It does, of course, open you up to, the potential for double contacts like we saw from them Stockman there, but that risk reward is well worth the risk for the amount of rewards you get from that skill.
No, that's a great call. Every once in a while, you're willing to give up a point or two just off a double contact to be able to run kind of that accelerated offense. And we have seen quite a bit of that from Kraft and Stockman, using a little bit more of those push sets and tempo balls. There's a great set and great footwork from Emily Stockman, finding the angle.
And I think the growth of the collegiate game for the women plays a big role in that, because you get so much training time, you get coaches to get a hold of these girls and make them handset and really train that skill. And so you see girls young like Megan Kraft come out here and just be great at handsetting already.
You know, on this side switch as well, to go back to your point, one of my favorite aspects too is to still see the different styles of hand setting. Even across the board, you watch these 4 athletes and there's different contact points, there's different lengths of time, there's different delivery systems. And I think it's so fun to see the nuances, and what works best for every given athlete is maybe a little bit varied. Tight ball. Kraft straight down.
Kraft raising up there with nobody at the net, 14-15.
Yeah, certainly there's no one correct way to do that skill, the skill of hand setting.
Trailing by 2 now after the missed serve. The deadly hand of Betsy Flint with the serve. And how about that swing? High contact point for Emily Stockman.
And no shortage of athleticism or physical prowess when it comes to Emily Stockman.
Rolling, but fast is Emily Stockman. Out of the middle, aggressive last 2 steps, but that's a tough ball. And we are knotted up at 16 apiece.
And some excellent defensive effort that time. Starts with a good serve from M. Stockman. Great rundown on the line. Results in a point.
And that is about as sharp of an angle as you can get. I don't even know how Kelly Cheng would just dislocated her shoulder to get the ball there.
Yeah, the fall away jumper of cut shots.
I'm not sure she has any ligaments left in her shoulder. Tough hybrid serve from Cheng.
Yes, out of bounds.
Looking for the high hands, but discipline at the net for Cheng, not reaching too high. Big block. Make it 3 straight for Cheng and Flint.
3 straight points.
Yeah, that started with a great serve from Kelly Cheng. Kind of forcing a tough pass from Megan Kraft there. And that ball's so hard to swing at, coming from the back corner of the court over your shoulder. You just don't have any vision of the block, and Kelly Cheng really doing a nice job with her hands up at the net to get that block point.
Yeah, that's a great point you bring up. 3 straight points for Cheng and Flint, but it did start with that nasty serve, and it's coming now from both Cheng and Flint. There's that hybrid serve. High ball. And steady as ever, Meg Kraft.
Yeah, you can see the big difference there when that ball gets passed to the front half of the court and she keeps everything in front of her. She can just kind of easily use her physicality and slap that off the top.
And another kill for Betsy Flint, making it set point. You can hear Betsy Flint calling for that set, using a numbering system in terms of where they want that set location, 1 through 5 along the length of the net. Quick read for Betsy Flint. And Stockman's now going to get a shot in transition. Popping off the left hand, and somehow it's alive. Go ball, push to the right side, and so much room to work with. What a set from Meg Kraft.
Yeah, some great defensive plays from both sides. Stockman and Betsy Flint both coming up with some phenomenal digs throughout the course of that rally. Stockman eventually getting the better of it, though.
Have to find some defense now, does Emily Stockman. Tough serve off the right shoulder of Betsy Flint. Great touch. Had to go. Option, well read, out of the bottom of the net now. And more defensive play on the side of Kraft and Stockman. They trail by 1 point. 19-20, and that is enough for Cheng and Flint to take a timeout here.
Yeah, and you have to applaud kind of the veteran play made in the middle of that play by Megan Kraft, right? Getting low, getting that ball out of the net. Because that, I mean, that's no easy play to make, and that's really what made that point for her team, putting up a hittable ball out of the tape. Stockman taking care of it for the point.
Yeah, I love that you bring that up because I got a chance to catch up with Emily Stockman about playing with Meg Kraft, and there was a point where Emily Stockman maybe was considering retiring from the game, and she said, once I figured out I was going to be with Meg Kraft, it was just like this new life was brought out. And she said, I definitely do not think I have reached my potential. I don't want to walk away from the game right now. She feels like she still has so much to give. And right now she's playing some phenomenal volleyball. So it's so great to see her on the court and also loving it, playing alongside Meg Kraft. Just the young energy. And we've seen that a lot on the AVP tour. The veteran playing with the young rookie. I think of, Paul Lottman and Miles Partain. You think of Jake Gibb and Taylor Kraft. It is set point. And we are all tied up. 20 all.
How about that? Cheng and Flint looking well in control of this match, and now all of a sudden we're tied.
3 straight. Can it be 4? They keep serving that right shoulder of Betsy Flint.
And Betsy gets the
looking for the bottom of the tape for a little bit of help. That one just drops straight out. 21-20.
And win by 2.
Cheng looking for her hybrid here. Toss with 2 hands, add some top spin. And too much top spin. 21 all on the side switch. You got to go for it though, right, Rich?
Well, I'm going to respectfully disagree with you there. I think on a set point, you've got to keep the pressure on your opponent. But you do have to kind of walk that line between, lollipop serve and difficult serve.
It's a great touch and an even better finish from Meg Kraft. Big high play on the on-2.
I feel like so often you see that happen where teams miss on a game point or a match point, and then all of a sudden the other team turns around and gets a reel on them.
It's a great call, as you also have a defender like Emily Stockman right now back there just digging balls left and right. Deep ball going the length of the court here is Emily Stockman. Tight set.
Across the board, 22,
wow.
22.
22-22.
Wow.
What a block from Kelly Cheng, just off the heel of her hand. Some pace from Kraft. Somehow.
Are you kidding?
Really pocket. You've got to be kidding me.
Fantastic game.
And just like that, the goosebump moment deflated by Kelly Cheng with the option play. What a heads-up play.
Yeah, just an unbelievable get from Stockman there, kind of outside of our screen.
Their team timeout. So at 2016, Cheng and Flint were cruising. That was 8 or 9.
The thing I really liked about that play, it was kind of midway through that play, Betsy dug the hard heat from Megan Kraft, and then they ran a little tempo kind of in transition. High, spinny dig. Kelly Cheng gives her kind of almost a bump shoot set to keep that pace up in transition. That's really, really an excellent play by them.
That's a great point by you. 23-22 Cheng and Flint. Get a second to breathe here as they face set point. Getting a little coaching from Jordan Cheng, husband and coach to those two. May Kraft
Well,
and
husband to
Emily
one of them
Stockman.
anyway.
Yeah.
New Orleans
Good point.
athletes know you
Here's a look at
appreciate
Jordan.
Set number 1. What a battle.
That point, Cheng and Flint.
The edge of the block for the kill goes Megan Kraft, 23-23.
That one made me a little nervous, Rich, from about 5 feet off, finding just the forearm of the block. 23-all.
Well, that did look like it was a little bit off the net, but again, just incredible poise from the youngster there.
Great set. Perfect delivery.
Betsy kind of sneaky powerful, isn't she?
I don't even think it's sneaky anymore. She's just straight up powerful now. Is it the ace for the set? It is. Up hybrid to the sideline. That was a clinic in service pressure from Cheng and Flint in the entirety of set 1.
Yeah, they really dodged a bullet with a nice block when Kraft Stockman had a swing at that first set, trying to steal one after being behind the whole time. But they fought back like the veterans that they are, and it's a walk-off.
I like it. A walk-off, at least in set 1. But it definitely shows a little bit of this separation, we'll call it. Some of these upper echelon teams that are really challenging for that goal, what they can bring from the service line. Who's going to step up in set 2? We'll find out after this.
The AVP is brought to you by Waikea Hawaiian Volcanic Water. Sustainably sourced and naturally alkaline. Live Aloha, drink Waikea. By Fabletics, premium performance apparel that won't break the bank. By White Claw Hard Seltzer. And by Clean Skin, high-performance sunscreen and skincare products for the outdoor lifestyle.
Dear mainland, aloha. My brother and I hear lots of you have discovered a real Hawaiian favorite, Big Wave Golden Ale. That's the good kind of stuff, yeah, bro. Maybe it's the island flavor that makes each sip taste like a little vacation. That's a whole lot of little vacations right there, huh, brother? That's like a big vacation. Retirement. One life, right? Mahalo. Big Wave Golden Ale from Kona Brewing.
Tough service pressure was the way for Cheng and Flint as we now start second set, and perfectly dialed up another ace for Betsy Flint.
Set begins with the Betsy ace. 1-0.
We would call that back-to-back aces, right?
Back-to-back aces, yeah. Except for from two different people. Cameron Irwin alongside Rich Lambourne. As you see some of the efficiencies from set number one. And actually what's interesting, Kraft and Stockman out-hit Cheng and Flint in terms of their efficiency in set number one. But ultimately, the victory goes to Cheng and Flint. Option play, but a net violation. That's a bummer because Stockman was all over it.
Yeah, we kind of saw that in the match prior to this. We were talking about stats being at times misleading in that the timing of those statistics also plays a big role.
Yeah, without a doubt. You mentioned the block late in that first set, that being a huge momentum shift, as well as the ace to close it out. If you're just joining us, this is a winner's bracket matchup. A spot at the semifinals is on the line between these two. Just starting off our night session. It was also a net session, at least for Kelly Cheng there with the missed serve. Trickler. And some pace on that option. Cheng was flying.
Yeah, and Stockman in a great position there. That is kind of Kelly's preferred swing across her body there. Too much pace, as you mentioned that time, for Stockman to handle it, though.
Raising and ripping Emily Stockman for 3-4.
On the first side switch after that nasty swing from Emily Stockman, you see so much of this tempo change, right? And how much of a dynamic, an added dynamic it can put on a defender on the opposing team.
Yeah, those option plays are so good because the defense doesn't have time to fully set up, so it requires less precision from you offensively, right?
Without a doubt, as there is a nice coffin corner shot from Emily Stockman, but it's not even just on the option play, Rich. You think about it too in terms of changing up the tempo. Just on your 1, 2, 3, changing up that set.
Yeah, anything to sort of neutralize the advantage the blocker may have, right?
Nice ball from Meg Kraft. That's one you always just say, thank you. Perfect set in volleyball.
Yeah, kind of an uncharacteristic serve-receive mistake that time from Betsy Flint, one of the better receivers out here.
Yeah, you got to pick your poison with those two. You go at Betsy and have to deal with her side out and the option, or do you go at Kelly and have to deal with the power and the pace of what she can do in the side out game as well?
Yeah, that's an interesting point. There are teams, when she was playing with Sponsor, that would go after her a little bit just so that they knew where the attack was coming from. because they didn't have to deal with her option play.
You know, it's funny as to how those two got together. I was talking to Kelly Cheng about it, and she said, you know, I just kept asking myself, who do I not want to have to play against? And the name I kept saying over and over was Betsy Flint. So I decided to put her on the same side of the court as me.
Interesting. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer, kind of a thing.
Frenemies. More so mutual respect.
Yeah, there you go.
Tough serve to the sideline for Betsy Flint. And she earns the side out. And take this time here too. Betsy sent me a message and asked me to say hello to Chase and Cora as they're out in Utah celebrating the life of Grandma Pat as well. So a big special shout out to Chase and Cora. Mama's thinking about you guys.
Nice to see the effort in this set from Kraft and Stockman. You know, oftentimes when you kind of lose a heartbreaker, you can come out a little off in the following set. But that's certainly not the case here from Megan and Emily.
As a reminder, the winner moves on to semifinals, loser to the contenders bracket. As you saw on screen, 9-6 now, 3-point advantage, Kraft and Stockman. We saw about a handful, maybe 3 to 4 of these 3-point switches in set number 1 for these two teams.
Yeah, we'd have to consider these two teams pretty evenly matched.
So, Rich, they keep serving to the right shoulder of Betsy Flint, deep to the right shoulder from the cross court. Why is that serve such a challenging serve, and why might they be looking for it?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. I mean, maybe they figure that's the spot where they can get the least accurate pass out of her. You know, we talked about those balls that come from the back half of the court over your shoulder and how it sort of neutralizes your vision as an attacker. So maybe they think that that's a way that they can get that result in serve reception out of Betsy Flint.
She works to the left side this time.
That one travels wide, make it 11-7. Kraft and Stockman really found something down 16-20 in first. Now they're up by 4 in set 2.
Cheng starting to shift a bit more into the middle of the court, helping out with some of the serve receive responsibilities. Option hits off the top of the net. Some help on the side of Kraft and Stockman. Inside, and Betsy Flint's flying in. You hear the call.
Some great defensive work from Stockman start to finish there. I'd like to see her, like she did, to put that ball away real aggressively. I'd like to see her be a little bit more offensive when she gets those digs. She's getting so many of them. When you come in soft, you give that your opponent kind of an opportunity to get off the mat, so to speak.
Option again into the corner.
1 point in set at 8-12. It will be Betsy to serve.
That's an area, actually, I think back Kelly Cheng has really developed. You called her one of the premier in the world at that option play. I think of Artacho and Clancy, also the Australians that are phenomenal at that option offense. Here's another look as Betsy Flint pushes that up, and another option play goes in their direction. But a few years back, there was a lot of conversation about Kelly Clays / Kelly Cheng and how often she was using it, when she was using it, and how she was using it. And she's really made it a point of emphasis to be an advantage to her game and doing it at the right moment. Can you speak to some of that maybe development as to when and how, and maybe you can use some of those nuances to kind of solidify your own game?
After this one in the winners
Well, yeah, I mean, certainly decision making as far as when to use certain elements of your game is a huge factor in your success rate. And I mean, certainly you could make the argument that early on she was maybe pushing that too much. It appears to me like she's using it a little bit less in her partnership with Betsy Flint than she was with Bronco. But, you know, I mean, it's still early on, so we'll see if that continues to be the case. I think as long as the decision making as far as when you're going with the option play is sound, then the sort of results will sort themselves out, if that makes sense. And I think because she's been doing it for so long, because she's so good at it, her decision making is pretty on point as far as when to go with that play and when to set your partner.
Yeah, it's a great point by you. Back out of the timeout.
Perfectly placed shot down the line, Cheng and Flint.
And a nice shot to the face. And the shot off of Betsy Flint. I don't know if you saw it yesterday, Rich, but Betsy Flint had a kick save where she was laying on her back. There's a highlight. You got to go on Instagram or check it out somewhere, folks, because it was incredible. She was running down a high line shot. She went too fast as Kraft put the ball away and ends up on her back, dead bug style, kicking the ball up for a save. It was remarkable.
Not surprising that an athlete of her caliber would have that level of body control, but I'm sure impressive nonetheless.
The dead bug dig, that's what we'll call it. Stockman gets a
anything
touch,
from an American. Yeah, anything from an American involving the feet is always kind of shockingly impressive.
I believe that's an ace. Little sidewinder off of Kelly Cheng.
Yeah, a bit of a confounder. Right? And Stockman sort of didn't expect that and just watched it fall right inside the line.
Nice set by Kraft coming in, chest to the net, side setting that ball.
Yeah, and a really nice look at what an advantage being able to be aggressive with your hand is in running your offense, right? Because that pass, realistically, a little tight, and Kraft able to fix it with a great hand set.
Hard right was the call, and that's in fact what Betsy Flint did. Hard to the right and just off the arms of Kraft. And another ace on the side of Cheng and Flint.
7-2 run to get us tied at 14. Flint and Cheng.
Yeah, look at that little pep in her step. Betsy Flint sprinting back to the end line as they switch sides.
That was Betsy Flint's 5th ace in this match. Working behind and recycled yet again. Like that play from Stockman. And again, how about the forethought for Betsy Flint pushing that ball up for her partner?
Yeah, great control from Betsy Flint, but watch Kelly sell it too. She just waits till the last minute in setting posture and then chops it off. That's great deception. Kelly Cheng and great ball control to give her partner the option from Betsy Flint.
You know it's coming and it's still hard. She didn't notice that she adds another element of deception by putting up hands, looking like she's going to set the ball, and yet again goes for the option. Great play from those two. You heard Mark Sherman say a 7-2 run. It's the back into set number 2 after picking up set 1. 5 aces on the side of Betsy Flint, and Kelly Cheng adding 2 additional as well, carrying the load an incredible environment here in New Orleans on our stadium court. Things are just going to continue to get packed out as you look at our upcoming 3 matches here on stadium. The #1 seed, Dolhauser and Patterson, facing off against Buttinger and Field. It's 1 versus 4. That's on the winner's side of the men's bracket. And then the 8:35 matchup, Rodriguez and Simo, and Cloth and Nuss. Rodriguez and Simo have been giant killers here in New Orleans. They look to take down the winners from Austin just a few weeks ago. Another block, and somehow there was a good touch, but asserting herself at the net, Kelly Cheng.
Yeah, really finding great form in the middle of this second set. Kelly Cheng, Betsy Flint, because they were not looking great, trailing by quite a few points, and on the back of some aces and some great defensive plays, they now sit in a 1-point lead.
Right sideline again on Betsy Flint. Somewhat handcuffed in her options there, but still finds a way to put a ball down.
Yeah, kind of sneaky little line shot there, because that was a great serve and created a tough pass, but Betsy did a nice job to get herself out of jail there.
Ball goes very long off the hand of Cheng. Just shaking that one off. Probably the toss not exactly where she wanted it. Sometimes you lose one every once in a while. Full extension of the platform for Stockman.
And we are tied again, 17-17. Somebody will have the all-important 18-17 lead.
I think that's the one spot Kelly runs into a little bit of trouble sometimes, especially from that right side. She almost kind of jumps and is trying to hit that cut on her way down, but she drags it down into the net with her. You know, she's so good at that option play right there because she's on her way up. All her momentum's going through that ball. You can see a marked difference in those 2 swings from Kelly Cheng.
That's a really good note there. Just some of the nuances to each and everybody's game. Those are part of the scouting report elements that all of these athletes, you can guarantee, have a little black book, and they're keeping track of each and every one of their strengths and weaknesses from the right side to the left side, with how they like to approach, how they like to attack. Rich Lamborn's got one of his own, one of the great coaches on tour, and now also on the mic with me.
My black book has other information. I don't know.
A free ball opportunity now. Great hand-on ball from Emily Stockman.
And again, started with great service pressure, and kind of that deep middle serve caused a little bit of confusion, hesitation, and they turned it into a point nicely. And now they sit in the lead again late in the second.
And a rare error. So many options available there for Betsy Flint. Just a little too much risk on that. Goes wide. It is now set point for Kraft and Stockman. Flint out of the middle. And she's going to have another look here. Decides to work behind. And Stockman with a good touch, but not enough.
Side out, and we're going
19-20.
A real point on the serve.
It's tough to know what to make of this match. Just when you think one team's firmly in control, the other team comes charging back, don't they?
Without a doubt. And you remember back to set number 1, set point opportunity. Let's see what Cheng can do in this one. This time she goes deep into the court. Big time side out, and there it is, 21-19. Kraft and Stockman takes set number 2, which means we're going free here on Stadium Court. 25-23, set 1, 21-19, set 2. Just 2 points of differential separate these two.
Those radio gym shorts that you have from college, they're done. Get them out of here. It's time to upgrade your short game with the one from Fabletics, man.
We love them. Your girlfriend will be stealing these. They're the best.
This fabric fixes another major issue, fit.
It's got this crazy stretch to it that looks so cute when I do my yoga or errands or like literally anything. They're the most comfortable, best feeling luxe-tastic fabric that we have ever worn.
Ladies and gentlemen,
It's time to get set number 3 underway. Take a look at some of the stats from set 1 and set 2. Things have gone the direction now of Kraft and Stockman in set 2. That efficiency is getting up there.
Yeah, you see the ace discrepancy in the favor of Cheng and Flint. Kind of the 1-to-1 ace to error ratio. Certainly something you can live with. If you're that team, but we haven't seen wonderful consistency from either squad here, right? I mean, these two sets won by the narrowest of margins, but they've kind of been seesaw battles.
Without a doubt, we'll see how much they seesaw here in set number 3. First 2 points going the direction of Kraft and Stockman. You saw the 17 kills so far for Stockman in this matchup. She is leading the pack with that number. Flint just behind her with 15 kills. Make it 16 kills for Betsy Flint.
Betsy powers through 1-2.
It's almost like a drill we would run in practice where we just play the right sider versus the right sider.
And a few unforced errors on the side of Cheng and Flint to start set number 3. Couple missed serves. A hitting error as well. And now it's gotten cleaned up just a bit. 2-3 on the first side switch.
2-3.
You don't get the feeling that there's any of the nerves you might expect from a 19-year-old out of Meg Kraft, right? She seems kind of firmly in control of her game. This is where she belongs, et cetera, et cetera. It's really quite impressive.
Well, she's played in some big-time moments, having played in back-to-back national titles and winning back-to-back national titles. She's also not necessarily a newcomer to the AVP Tour as well. Having played a few years, working through the qualifier, now steadily somebody people want to play with in the main draw. Emily Stockman gets that shot here in the 2022 season. A little witchcraft from Kelly Cheng. New Orleans is liking that one.
Certainly they got some sort of reaction out of the crowd, didn't it?
Tries to save the first block touch.
Yeah, I like M. Stockman kind of with that vibe a little bit more. Real aggressive, going after it offensively.
And Betsy Flint so fast.
Clear the net. It's 6-4
But
lead.
not
Kraft
enough
and
off the
Stockman.
net to be able to get Cheng on that ball. You gotta like the option defense there. You mentioned that Cheng loves to go with that crossbody swing into the option, and they've got the defense set up perfectly with Emily Stockman digging.
Yeah, no easy task for Megan to be taking away that wrist away either. They're just doing a great job scouting this team out and setting themselves up for success.
Nice little quick snap from Kraft. 7-5 now.
Yeah, and I like that choice actually from Cheng and Flint to throw one at Megan Kraft. I mean, they've been almost exclusively on Stockman. She's really in a nice rhythm offensively, so you got to do something to disrupt that. Sometimes that means throw one to the other player.
And that's a shot that Betsy Flint has worked several times in set 2 and now into set 3. Just a short line shot over the top of Kraft's block. Another nice side out ball from Emily Stockman.
Yeah, again, staying aggressive offensively. I like what Em's doing right now.
Nice wrist from Betsy Flint on the left.
That's a good pliable wrist shoulder combo right there, right?
And talking to Kelly Cheng, she said she's a very emotional player we've seen so often. She said one of the big elements of playing with Betsy Flint as they look for some defense here is that she feels like she steadies her out emotionally. That's something that they really wanted to focus on as they look for Paris Olympics, just 2 years away. She wants to feel her fire, but also know how to contain it at the right moment.
Right to the corner, right on the line for 8-9.
That's an interesting point. You're suggesting that Kelly's playing into the stereotype of the fiery redhead.
I think she's just a competitor. She's fierce in how she competes, just like all the other three on the court now. Betsy Flint, nice rundown. How about that set behind the back for Kelly Cheng? She didn't even see where Betsy was. That's perfect placement in the transition.
Yeah, that time a tough bounce out of the net for M. Stockman and Megan Kraft. Just didn't sit there for
9-all. Big swing from Meg Kraft.
Megan Kraft gets the kill, 10-9, 1 point to the switch.
And 9 now for the 19-year-old. Takes the option, and it's just enough of a delay. They can sneak it past Meg Kraft.
And goes into the semifinals.
And you can hear some of that fire coming out, right? Kelly really excited as that ball goes down.
She wants to avoid the quiet and tentative adjectives, is what she told me.
To take the lead, Betsy and Kelly, 11-10.
She's at her best when she is firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, it's interesting though. You mentioned that all four of these girls are intense competitors, and certainly that's the case. but that expresses itself in lots of different ways, right? It's kind of a
Without
loose
a doubt,
point
is
there
another
that's
ace.
happened.
We're going to take a team timeout. Timeout, Cheng and Flint.
Yeah,
with the
you're absolutely right. There are different elements, and it's kind of the balancing act, right? Sometimes those emotions and that fire can propel you. It gives you almost a little bit of a superhero power as this is a look back at Betsy Flint's ace.
Yes.
But at the same time, it can also be destructive in moments. If you start to play with it too much, it might affect some of your decision making. So those are some of the things Kelly Cheng is looking to try and level up on. Leveling out the lows as well as the highs. Whereas you look at somebody like May Kraft, very stoic in her approach, antiquated also as she's on the court. Great decision making, still brings so much fire, vocalizing in the moments she needs to. Emily Stockman doing just the same. Betsy Flint has that quiet aggression, that sneaky aggression that you called.
Here we go. Put your hands together, NOLA. What a fantastic match. It is 12.
Yeah, she's not short on intensity, but it's not quite as demonstrative as her partners.
Quick hands off of May Kraft. There's a different look and maybe a little bit of a different setting technique, and it was a beautiful one at that. High contact point, quick release.
Oh my goodness.
And the poke option.
Kelly.
Instead of aggressive into the angle, she goes short with the line option. Another kill for Cheng, making sure she's involved. 14 kills for her.
And again, well disguised until the very last moment there.
It is match point. Kelly Cheng, Betsy Flint, 14-11.
14-11 now after a great defensive play on the side of Cheng and Flint. Match point. Take a look at this. How about that dig? Betsy Flint and the quick touch, Kelly Cheng. I think she's got eyes in the back of her head.
And that's what makes
her
her so dangerous on the option play, is that she can use both of her hands.
Recycled back. Match isn't over yet. And Kelly Cheng with the pace, the power, and the fire, sealing the deal for Cheng and Flint. 15-11 in set number 3.
They're really finding their form right at the right moment, late in that third set when they needed it most. Well done by Kelly Cheng, Betsy Flint, but an unbelievable performance as well from Megan Kraft and M. Stockman, and their tournament is far from over, you would think.
Without a doubt, incredible play, especially late in that third set. Like you mentioned, they started a little bit slow in that third set with some unforced errors, but stayed together, stuck it out, and ended up with an epic victory over a very solid team. Good news is we still get to see May Kraft and Emily Stockman as they will go into the contenders bracket. So much service pressure, lots of aces at the hand of Cheng and Flint. All smiles here in New Orleans from those two. Thanks for joining us here on the AVP Tour. We are done for day 2. You're going to want to catch all the action.